Oh, what is happening?
Got a little weird.
Got a little crackly. So do you have to?
The paper's drying the clay out a little.
So the paper's drying your clay. Do you have to wet your hands to make it all? Sometimes.
Yeah, that just makes it gooey. But I will wet it as I go along to help make sure it doesn't dry out. This clay will dry
Do you
out
have to? You said you didn't have to split everything to piece them together, but do you have to wet between the coils to make sure they're all moist?
I mostly wet the whole piece just to make sure it doesn't dry out too quickly as I'm working with it, and I don't moist it too much.
All right. So unlike we were talking like elementary school, you don't have to put as much water as you think.
No.
But it may also be because in elementary school, some of the clay was reused and some of it was drying out.
It's a good thing to do. I mean, it's better safe than sorry.
All right.
But
a little misting bottle.
Clay that is the same
consistency,
moisture content, then you should be fine. If this was leather hard and I'm trying to put another piece onto it that's really moist like this, then I would slip and score.
Okay. Do you have to slip and score if you were trying to make a handle on it, even if it is the same consistency?
It's good practice.
Okay. It can't hurt
Handles are weird.
Okay.
And it also depends on the type of clay as well.
All right. So when in doubt, you can slip and score.
Yeah.
All right. So they're all compressed because you compressed them against the table. And is it okay that some of them have like the little cracks like that?
It'll all get compressed in as I go along.
So it will compress even more.
Yeah, I got my little handy
spinning wheel.
Yep.
It doesn't have power, but allows you to move it around without moving your piece of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have to handle it as much. The two most used tools.
One that looks like a knife and the smoothing one.
So we'll start with a base.
And this pot's going to be completely coiled.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna, see, it's already starting to lose its moisture. You can see the cracks in it.
Oh, wow. That fast. Well, I guess we are in a dry environment, being indoors.
So I'll take this. This gives the next piece something to kind of bond to. I have another short piece somewhere. So this is the bottom.
Kind of looks like a snail shell.
Yeah.
So by cooling the bottom, it makes it have this similar consistency.
Yeah.
Thickness.
A lot of times you can do a slab bottom, but I don't have a way to really make a slab.
Like a cooking pan.
Yeah. We have a slab roller at school, which comes in handy.
But I guess this is how they would have done it.
Yeah.
Back in the past when they didn't have.
And this will determine how big pot is. So I'm just gonna make a little tiny teacup, I think.
Teacups are adorable.
So just see if I can get this evened out.
So you're just trying to make it completely circle now?
Yeah, just trying to make sure it's even all around.
Okay. So it's more of a guesstimate, not a exact science, because it's art.
Just eyeballing it. So now that I've got all that, I want to leave the bottom. I'm gonna find it out. Moisture on that. Take a serrated blade and I'm gonna do this.
So is it better to use serrated than smooth?
The serrated helps the any unevenness come out.
Oh, because it's scraping off.
Yeah, because it's scraping.
Okay.
And it also is blending everything together. This is where this little rolly wheel comes in handy too. And then you take this.
Spritz it. And then you make it smooth. Smooth out very nicely. You can even see the pieces of texture inside the clay.
Yeah, this is a stoneware that has what we call grog in it, which actually is really good for this type of hand building.
Allows it to bond, just
Yeah,
like
it gives
Native Americans would.
It gives it something to stick
And,
to, and it gives
any
it
other.
makes it stronger. So you wouldn't want to do a coil pot out of porcelain. Porcelain would not be able to.
Withstand it.
Porcelain doesn't like to stick to itself, really.
Oh, no, silicone. Yeah. All right. So I know that here in Georgia and part of Florida, I do believe a little bit of the Carolinas, the Native Americans would put, instead of the grog, they would actually put the Spanish moss. So that it
Doesn't stick.
nice.
Yeah.
So you can remove it off.
I'll do the same thing to this side.
Gorgeously blending. Look how gorgeous. And so the more practice you get, the faster you're able to go.
Right. Now it's actually kind of thin.
All right.
This a little bit, kind of even out a little bit.
Because it came a little flatter on the corners, now it's all the same size.
Ta-da, there's our little base. So next, I'm going to move this around the outside of it. Look, it's just flattening out. Got too much moisture. That's fine. We can cut that part out. Over. There we go.
And when you just have too much moisture, just flip it over.
If there's too much moisture, just put that on there. This and this can usually work on a plaster tables and plaster tables.
Oh, no, plaster, yeah.
This is where that serrated thing comes in handy. So I need to alright. Pick it up. There we go. Just rough up the edges a little. Gives it something to stick to.
You just don't have to get both sides, like they told you.
There. Now, start building.
And so when you roll out the coils don't have to be exactly perfectly shaped because you
No.
can fill it in later on.
Yeah, so like I did earlier, I just scraped everything.
Yeah.
I'll do that again as I go along.
Because one side may be higher than the other side not, and it will just work itself out.
Right.
You don't worry about it until the end. All right.
And if it's bothersome, then you can take a coil. And just go. Just go halfway around. It kind of evens it out a little bit. So now, I'm going to take this.
And so you just go up and down, consider it, depending
I'll
on
go
how it feels.
different ways.
And this will happen to the entire part until it's finished. We'll come back to that in a moment. And so you're smoothing out the inside with the slip you just created by scraping it off and having it watery.
Just a little bit of extra clay, just to make the bottom a little bit more rounded and secure.
There's the clay. So you want to make the coils a little slightly bigger than what you want the thickness of your pot to be?
Yes.
Okay. Or your vessel.
Vessel, pot,
Whatever
it's
it is.
all the same.
Just depends on how you use it. And so for these, if they were going to be in use, would the bottom being thicker than the rest of it be important? Like you really want a thick bottom?
You don't want too thick. But yeah, usually the bottom is a little bit thicker than everything else.
So the inside is smooth, the outside is still all ridged, and it's about to become smooth as well.
You can do it with your fingers, you can take one of these.
Using all your tools in your toolbox. But the people who used to make pottery back in the day, that's like the only job they had, right? Typically. They had years of experience.
Probably. I haven't done much research on it, although I'm pretty sure I will be in my advanced classes. That's where you get the name Potter from.
Yep.
Same thing, you get like other things, smith,
Or smiths.
or blacksmiths, or silversmiths. Back in the day, your last name was what you did, your profession.
Nice.
Okay. Let's see. I said we were gonna make a teacup, but I don't know. We might just end up with a small bowl.
And that's the amazing thing about it. It could change.
But now that this has gotten a little different in moisture.
So it's starting to dry out a little over time.
Milk. Kidding me? All this time and now break. I probably got clogged up with clay. Okay, well, moving on to the bowl then. Just want my fingers first.
And this is what you're talking about, where they would sometimes make strange vessels or make them wavy or different sized. Stop one place, start another. Or you can just make it taller because you want to.
Depends on how wide you're gonna get. Because at a certain point, you're not gonna be able to stick your hand in there to get it. So a lot of times they would make them in different things. And a lot of people, even when you throw vessels, a lot of the large, really large vessels, large pottery is thrown in different parts and then put together.
Okay, so it's like you have the base.
Because you can only throw so big before you can't even reach inside to do anything.
Because you would damage the rest of the...
Well, you just like
Or just
really
you can't
tall vessels or pots.
Are the ones that have those little narrow necks?
Yeah, you can only go as tall as your arm can reach to the bottom. So, I guess we're just gonna turn into a planter. That's fine too.
Planters work.
Notice I'm kind of going on the outside of it to make it wider.
Yeah. Instead of building straight on top of each other like you were earlier, you're going a little further out. And giving it a nice mouth, lip piece.
So now I've gone up a little bit farther. Now's a good time to break this out and
Scrape again.
scrape again. You don't want to get too far before you scrape, because then it's going to be harder to do.
You're cutting into the top to make it all nice and smooth.
Possibly. That's in theory. Just have to make sure I'm scoring it basically, so I know where to cut.
So after the entire outside is now smooth, it's going to be, and because it turns, it's able to make it a little more straight.
Hey, I ended up in the same pot. Nice.
So you just have to be very careful so it doesn't warp for this.
I can straighten it out. At this stage, I can straighten it out, whatever is warping.
Okay.
So now that it was scored, I can see where I'm at.
So you just try to make it perfect, but like it's A-okay.
It's handmade.
Yeah, nothing's gonna be perfect for handmade. It's all unique.
If you want perfect, don't go into ceramics. I literally make stuff just to break it,
Nice.
because breaking stuff is fun. And then you can do stuff, like if it's glazed, you can do stuff with the glazed shards and stuff.
Oh
Some people
yeah, I've
make
seen
mosaics
people make
and
like
stuff.
yeah mosaics on wood to use for like their walls and stuff.
Not quite level, but it's good enough. And then we can do some water.
And level it out. So honestly, if you only had like a butter knife, it would still be okay.
Yeah. Butter knife has, sometimes they have like a serrated edge on it and
Then the smooth side.
on the smooth side.
Even the plastic ones do though.
Yeah, plastic one works. Actually, a plastic one might work better.
You wouldn't
It's
try the
probably more
stick.
flexible.
Yeah. You can bend it.
I'm just smoothing it out because you don't want sharp edges. They have a tendency to break easier.
Oh, so you want to make it kind of like this pot is rounded.
And that's where we're from.
Yeah. But you still want to have a similar basis. Also, if it was to bake with the sharp edges, it may or may not get a little pokey. Or worse, catch on something.
It's not quite even, but hey, it's handmade.
It gives it character.
And the same with the bottom. You don't want the bottom to be completely sharp. So
Yeah, you want it to be rounded.
around that bottom.
I've seen some people have the flat, and it's like a 90-degree angle, but it kind of broke off in a little piece, so it can snag on fibers.
They have a tendency, like if the bottom isn't rounded, like this is pretty sharp, but it should be rounded, but this is one of my first ones I did. Right here will probably crack if it hits something hard. So. Got yourself. And let it dry.
Awesome.
And it will shrink as it dries. Clay shrinks. So even though it looks like this now, it might shrink.
So you let it dry until it's leather hard and then you bake it, right?
No, it has to be what's called bone dry.
Bone dry.
So it will dry until all the moisture is out of it completely.
Okay, completely dry. Oh, the leather hardness is whenever you use the stamping process. If you try to do stamps.
Leather hard is what you want if you're trying to do slab building.
Yeah.
So
Or if you're trying to do the
it's firm but
paddle
still
stems.
workable.
All right. So, but bone dry, that's usually it changes like color. Makes it a little lighter
This
in
will
color.
get a lot lighter in color.
And it'll also be lighter in weight because it won't have as much moisture. And then you would bake it in a kiln at a high temperature. How many degrees is that? You got that?
Cone 6. It's around 2400 maybe.
So 2400,
I'd have
that's
to look it- I'd have to look it
2,400 degrees.
Over 2000 degrees, I can tell
Yeah.
you that much.
So if you're at home using just normal clay, you want to go for low fired, or if you fire it, you can fire it in your oven, but you can only do it as a, like it holds jewelry.
They have clay that you can fire in the oven. Sculpey's one of those.
Yeah,
You
polymer
could
clay.
make something like this out of Sculpey.
And just paint it with acrylics. Or just air dry, paint it with acrylics and put the enamel, you said, to make it a little more water resistant for something like a planter, not for something edible.
Yeah.
You don't want to eat off of it.
Not food safe.
Yeah, not food safe. Though they do make food safe glazes, that's for higher temperature.
And also planters usually have like a little hole in the bottom of them.
For draining. I've seen them without holes, but you know.
But it's fun.
Yay, it's done. Gorgeous.